Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema. Season 2.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
This is 100% true. There's a selection of foods you can eat in a certain order that would allow you to make a rainbow of brown turnout.
On today's episode, we will be talking about The Boys in the Boat. This is a 2023 film directed by George Clooney and stars Joel Edgerton, Callum Turner, and Peter Guinness. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. A 1930s set story centred on the University of Washington's rowing team, from their Depression-era beginnings to winning gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Here is an original song to support the synopsis. Boys, boys, boys in boats, rowing on the screen. Row! This is definitely a story you have seen. Stroke! Boys, boys, boys in boats, rowing on the screen.
Hold it steady!
Clooney is better than this, and we're not being mean.
Keep it even!
Boys, boys, boys in boats, rowing on the screen.
All together now!
You already know that they're the winning team.
Way enough!
Boys, boys, boys in boats, rowing on the screen.
Listen to your cock!
That is the worst Hitler that I've ever seen.
Row!
Let's start with some facts about the film. Prior to making the film, the actors had no rowing experience. They were given a physio and a trainer to prepare for the physicality of rowing. They trained every day for months, rowing for 4 hours a day, every day, then an hour after filming. The actors' goal was to get 46 strokes per minute while working on the film, which they achieved, matching the strokes per minute of the original crew in the Olympics.
Wow.
Now that is a fact that singularly improved the rating of the overall film for me.
But they're all young, healthy actors, so I suppose they could put their hand to anything and get good at it. But are you saying that they matched the speed, pace and rows for the team that actually won?
Yeah.
So this group could have gone back to 1936 and won?
If there was Time Machine and the boys in the boat from the film raced the boys in the boat in real life, they would have at least been neck and neck.
Wow.
Potentially, the actors could potentially beat the actual Olympians.
What does that say then? Does it say that time makes us better athletes? So back then, maybe malnutrition, worse health, that was the peak. But if a bunch of actors can technically say, I could have won an Olympic medal in 1936, does it mean that we're stronger now?
I reckon, yeah. And these actors, they're not me and you. They've got a nutritionist, physio, trainer, all sorts of people that are all committed in getting them to reach that 46 stroke point. And the boys back in the day, the original OG boys in the boat, they didn't have as much resources or know as much, I'm assuming, about nutrition and all that stuff that comes with competing in sports.
Well, no one was fat. It was Great Depression, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
And you were working every day. There was none of this working from home laptop stuff. It was physical.
Yeah.
Almost all of it was physical. That's incredible, isn't it?
I would love to have that on my CV. I did a job for a film, and guess what? I was so good at it that I could have beat the people that the film's fucking based on.
How incredible, though. You're an actor. You're getting paid to do a role, but you're also getting paid to get up early, row, get fresh air, get exercise in. And you end up matching the speed of the Olympic record for 1936.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's like a really rewarding job, and I only have envy.
Yeah.
And hate.
I'm right there with you. I would like to be paid loads and loads of money to get my ass fit, to get in a boat, and to be able to look back on the exploits of an extraordinary true story and be like, I'm as good, if not better.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want.
Director George Clooney said, and I quote, "It was really important to us that the rowing community actually had a film that captured the thrill of what that is and the speed."
The rowing community.
I think there's the rowing community is probably quite an awesome group.
Oh,
awesome.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the only rowing film I've ever seen. And I have to admit, before watching it, it wasn't anything that really interested me. I think after it, I'm not going to go and seek out more films or start watching competitive rowing. But it was interesting, that first fact, and the fact that there is an actual fucking rowing community that Clooney and co are trying to please.
Well, in the UK, the big universities, Cambridge, Oxford, so it's associated with, wealth. So rowing it's a university thing over here.
Yeah.
It's over here,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
university thing.
It's an annual event over half.
So I'm not surprised growing up in South London that you weren't cheering some rower on the Thames every morning, man, wearing a Chelsea rowing shirt.
I think even if I came from privilege and money, I still don't think I'd be that guy.
Doing rowing, exceptional.
I've
You're
done-
out on the water, you're working all your leg muscles, your upper muscles. It's brilliant. It's a beautiful feeling. I love kayaking. I love canoeing.
I've done rowing.
But to watch as a sport, I mean, I don't even enjoy F1.
I've done rowing. I just want to say that again so it lands. I've done rowing.
What type of rowing? I can't imagine you doing something
In the gym.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's the
Not
same,
even
isn't it?
water, just the smell of a cheesy carpet.
Oh, it was cheesy. It was
Jesus
cheesy.
Christ.
This film is based on the best-selling non-fiction book The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown.
He's my boy.
Is he?
He's my boy.
Why is he your boy?
The Indifferent Stars Above. I'll get to it.
Oh, so you know this man?
I know he's a writer.
Oh, is he known for sport,
True stories.
true story sport stories?
Not just sports. He did The Indifferent Stars Above, which was the story of the wagons heading west during the Donner Party cannibalism thing.
Oh yeah, I know.
Exceptional.
Yeah. Is that going? We can go into your likes if that's one
Terrifying.
of your likes. Is that Main Dog?
No,
Oh, well, do you want to go into your likes anyway?
that's one of my dislikes.
Oh shit.
Callum Turner. Yeah, I think he's slowly becoming wartime lead man, no?
Yep.
The sweet cheese.
Yep.
The big daddy of D-Day and Great Depressions.
Yep.
I mean, I first saw him in War and Peace, and I thought he was brilliant in it. Played quite a devious, handsome courtier. And Masters of the Air, obviously. I mean, that's the reason I was excited for this movie, because he's someone who my eye's out for now. I'm looking to see what he's going to do next, and hopefully he makes the right steps. And although I don't consider this a brilliant film, I think he's making the right steps.
You can tell that this is an actor with lead man potential.
Totally, he's imposing.
Yeah.
He's big, he's tall, he's handsome. He's he can nail an American accent.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
He can nail it. He's so good at it. Like he's just like, it reminds me of them old school days of Band of Brothers, when a lot of British actors went into Band of Brothers, and I thought most of them were Yanks.
The highest praise I can give Callum Turner is I was listening to a film podcast when it was George Clooney and the cast of The Boys in the Boat were all being interviewed. I heard Callum Turner speak. He's English. He's a Brit boy. Heard him speak. And I was like, that sounds like a Brit version of the character he plays in Masters of the Air. I had no idea. So he manages to keep his sort of vocal quality
tone.
as a Brit and then transfer it with an American accent that's kind of seamless. It's
That's
superb.
amazing if you think about it, because when you look at Idris Elba as Stringer Bell, it's a very different voice from Idris Elba.
Yeah.
So that is clever, yeah. So all the tone, all of the inflection is the word or
Yeah.
something. It's all him. And all he's done is just give it a little bit of icing, a little bit of American icing.
I genuinely heard it and was like, he sounds like Brit Boy version of Masters of Air dude. Then I found out it was, gave myself a pat on the back, looked in the mirror, half smiled, went on about my
He
day.
should sell a book on how to do that accent then, because he does it flawlessly.
He is one of those actors that looks like everything he does, he's 100% in. And I think for a young actor, I don't know how old he is, but I'm assuming late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
I think he's got big things ahead of him. I think he's fantastic, very charismatic, great leading man potential, as I say.
He could be our answer to, say, like the sort of Sam Worthingtons. You know, they get big roles. They can do some serious roles as well, but they can do sort of, action movies as well. I think he might be similar,
But good.
but a British version. I'm not saying like Sam Worthington has done some things I enjoy, but he's very plain vanilla down the middle.
Yeah.
There's not
He's not very
huge
emotive.
depth to him.
No.
Not very emotive. That's it. But I think Callum Turner showed a lot more chops in Masters of the Air than what I've ever seen Sam Worthington do.
Yeah, definitely.
Big statement.
Any more likes for me?
Of course. So we covered it already, but I love kayaking and canoeing, and I was genuinely jealous of their opportunity. I mean, imagine spending most mornings on a beautiful stretch of water, getting your exercise in, your fresh air, a wage, potentially making history and being treated like rock stars for essentially being a Viking, but without the rape and pillage.
I mean, it's the dream scenario.
I was so jealous. Like, he gets pulled out of the depression, gets a wage, very hard to get a job.
Yeah.
And his job is to exercise every day on the water.
Yeah.
So his wage equates his fitness,
Yep.
equates his appealability from women.
Yep.
I mean, I was like, take me out of this world.
Yeah.
Tell me I'll get paid to row a boat. Let me get these tits off me.
Yeah.
And get some biceps.
Well, it's like an all-inclusive package holiday, but for job.
Oh, my God.
Because you're like, you know what? I'm getting paid to be out in the open. We know that's good for you.
Yep.
Getting paid to do exercise. We know that's good for you.
Yep.
You're doing all those things. You're getting money in the fucking depression era.
And there's no Germans stealing beach loungers and pool loungers with their towels and then fucking off to the buffet for 10 hours.
Yeah, and taking the last slice of gluten-free pizza because they're selfish and they just see normal pizza and aren't considerate for those that have got fucking gluten intolerance.
Because they like the topping. Oh, I liked the topping, Yarg.
Yeah.
What this is, essentially, is us taking the mickey out of the recreation of Hitler in the film.
Oh, we've gone there.
We're hitting the stereotypes.
Yeah.
I was just saying.
I mean, we'll get onto that, I'm sure, but that is one shitty stereotype.
Last like, Jack Mulhern. I think you might have seen him in Mayor of Easttown. I think he's going to go on to be a very malleable character actor, I reckon.
I feel
he's got features that make him look like he could play some really awesome eccentric character actors.
I feels there's villain roles in him.
Yeah.
I feels like
hopefully not the Joker.
No, we've enough now. Put the Joker down for a little bit. Do something else.
I'm just saying, I don't want to see more eccentric bad guys with makeup.
You're done with that?
Yep.
Yeah, he's another one that stood out for me. It's those features, it's those chiseled features. I think he could be, like you say, but he's got that sort of striking silhouette as well, isn't he? He's like, he looks like a big unit, but I think he could play a really devious character. And I thought his character in this was really good as well.
Yeah, he was really intriguing. Apparently, he was the key component to the boat as well. His role in the boat itself dictates everything. The speed, how they're gonna achieve what the coxswain's telling them to. So he played a huge role, and it's amazing because he was genuinely, in real life, he was really ill, had a respiratory illness on the day that he won.
Yeah.
So it's kind of amazing. I don't know if in the film the banging of two wooden cogs on a boat trying to get him geared up would have worked.
No.
I doubt it. I think his mentalities then were strong enough.
I think he was thinking, well, I'm at the point now where I have to push one more time and I could be a hero, a national hero, and get my name in the history books. I don't think some guy looking at you banging a bit of wood on the side of a boat is going to make you go, I'm going to do it now. Now I'm going to do it.
Have you ever had that, though, where you've been really ill, you feel really ill, and you're so sick of feeling ill that you force yourself to do something? Like run or go and get drunk, like really weird, and you're almost, you can feel better.
Yeah. Or it can go the other way. It can do the flippity
and you go hospital.
And then, you're in real fucking trouble. And they're looking at you going, why did you try to do a marathon? You have COVID.
Yeah, you do.
Is that you on your likes, Danya?
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest like is it's just a honey-glazed feel-good film. The Boys in the Boat is a sweet and sugary treat that looks wonderful and feels just nice. The almost varnished tone, the upbeat score, and the comforting, albeit predictable direction all combined to make this film feel like you were looking into the soul of a Werther's original. A perfect film to watch with your nan. Now, for me, that's not necessarily high praise for a film, but if you are looking for a film to just you can leave your brain at the door. You can just take comfort in watching a nice, heartfelt, rags to riches story, then this could be a film for you. It's nice. I can see it's probably targeted at an audience a little older than us in terms of like peril and threat and any non-generic redeeming qualities. There's very few to be had in this.
Speak for yourself in regards to nans, mate. My nan watches Deliverance and Scum and stuff and Sodom.
Okay.
She's not into sweet films.
Right, well, I'll change that. Watch with your stereotypical nan.
Yes.
A stereotypical film.
Yes.
And if you have a stereotypical nan, she might like this stereotypical film.
A biscuit-eating nan.
Yeah, custard creams and teas for days.
Mm-hmm.
My nan used to watch like Bloodsport and Jean-Claude Van Damme stuff. She was into that sort of thing.
Oh, was she tugging?
I think so, yeah. I felt the Boys in the Boat had a great sense of time and era. Director George Clooney and cinematographer Martin Rue do a great job of time-stamping the Boys in the Boat. The costumes felt authentic, the struggles of living in the Depression era was palpable, and the sense of escape into a sport that distracted the boys from their harsh realities were really well handled, I thought. And for a film that is that warm, cuddle, cosy, sugary, sweet treat, the fact that it felt authentic, I kind of dug that.
It's weird though, isn't it, that so much effort and thought and resources was put into semi-recreational activity rather than, feeding the poor and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's strange that during the Great Depression that there was time and resources still getting put into, rowing and universities and stuff, when like the real struggle, like you see it in Callum Turner's character at the start, living in a fucking truck, trying to survive. It's just strange.
Us governments, try to distract us from the struggle by going, oh, look at this thing that's happening, this event that we can make you feel part of, but really you're nothing.
Well, it's all for the flag, isn't it? It's like when nations like can't feed their entire populace, and they haven't got a good healthcare system, but then they do a big show and tell of, look, we've just sent a satellite around the moon. Fuck off.
Yeah, get your priorities sorted, please.
The moon's not going to save me.
Yeah, people are starving out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's maddening, isn't it?
Yeah, this was the space race for rowing.
Yeah, it was. I also liked the racing and rowing itself. The scenes that featured the boys in the boat were engrossing, entertaining, and genuinely exhilarating. I couldn't help but root for the lads each time they set foot in the boat, and even though the outcomes of each race were predictable, I still really liked the high energy in which they were executed. Now, I said it earlier, despite never having an interest in rowing, I did enjoy learning about the tactics and techniques used in a sport that looks like bloody hard work. Now, there is a lot of faults in this film. It ticks every box you'd expect a sports biopic to tick. It's very glossy, it's very varnished, it's all of these films. But the rowing scenes themselves, they were energetic, they were well handled, and I liked the way they looked on camera. I thought they were quite impressive.
It's orange juice.
It is orange juice.
It's orange juice. Like, you could have 20 different brands, but they're pretty much all the same.
Yeah, it's Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola.
It's Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and, yeah.
When you're having it, it's nice. It's nice tasting, but there's better out there.
Yeah. I like a little Coca-Cola and then half a rum in it.
Yeah.
And then a piece of lime.
Yeah.
And a ginger twist.
Then 6 Guinness.
Yeah.
A burger. 6 more Guinness. A cry. Regret.
Yep.
A tug.
Dislikes? Cool rowings.
Oh, there it is. That was good.
No one needed this film, really, did they?
No one did.
No one needed it.
No one.
And personally, as I was sort of let onto it earlier, if you're going to do a film based on a Daniel James writing, then do The Indifferent Stars Above.
Tell me about this.
Now, that's a film that needs making. Shocking, captivating, epic. Not this. I saw nothing new in this.
This is the wagon wheel cannibalism.
It is. It's the true story about the families. It doesn't. So Donner Party, that's the one everyone always hears, but there was loads of families.
Is that why it's called Donner Meat?
I did think this once myself years ago. I thought, why is it called Donner Meat?
If it is, that's the darkest shit ever.
Well,
because they're referencing cannibalism, right?
Yeah, but they didn't put it on a spit and make it look really good and get the people drunk and then say eat it.
Didn't taste banging after 12 pints.
No.
Probably never did taste banging, did it?
And it didn't make your insides translucent and leaky.
Oh. So were the Donners the eaters or the... or eaten?
Loads of families. It was something like 60 families crossing at that time of year. So it was kind of like, when they talk about Everest and they say, oh, this year 1,300 people summited. So back then, every year they'd be able to sort of roughly count how many families had crossed from civilization, being the east of America, into the west, the sort of places that hadn't yet been annexed by the United States of America. And basically they were a little late in the push anyway, but what essentially happened was they took advice from a bit of a charlatan about a quicker way of getting there,
right?
Which in actually held them back 4 weeks, and then they got caught in the snow in Mountain Pass.
Fuck.
And food was just running out.
Yeah.
And it became a case of like starvation. It just went nuts.
Jesus.
Like people being eaten, people being murdered to be eaten and stuff. It was insane.
So is it a commune of people?
Yeah, traveling
journey?
A wagon train of immigrants, you could say.
And the cannibalism was out of desperation, not just because
Oh,
they was
totally.
like what that man tastes like.
Yeah, it was that. So it's similar to Alive in that respect in the Andes crash, but this one was more intriguing.
And that's not a film because
they've done it. They've definitely done some poor, sort of almost like a Stephen King recreation of them, I think, in the 70s, maybe the 80s. But if you're going to get George Clooney and you're going to get people like Callum Turner and stuff, just go and make that.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard about this from you and you only, but that's definitely a film I'd rather seeing than Shiny Boys in the Boat. Definitely.
I think that only because Boys in the Boat's just been done a million times. I don't know what Clooney wanted to get the story out there, but it's like, yeah, but this has been done.
I think that you're calling it Cool Rowings is bang on the buzzer.
Cool Rowings.
I mean, you've done it, and I'll tailgate that with you because my biggest dislike is exactly that. It's just a bog standard sports biopic.
I thought you just said Bob Standard, as in bobsled.
Yeah, we'll pretend I said that because that's much better and sharper. But as much of a nice film The Boys in the Boat was, it offered absolutely nothing new to a genre that seems to have exhausted itself. Now, like you, I understand it is a telling of a true story, so in terms of plot, there is really only one direction to row. However, the structure of the film, the directing decisions, the standard inspiring platitudes used by the characters, the predictable peril and inevitable conflict resolution, all added up to me sitting there consuming something that felt good whilst watching but was ultimately instantly forgettable. The Boys in the Boat is best served as a single serving slice of sugary sweetness that hits the spot if you need an easy to digest pick-me-up.
Very true.
Yeah, so I was just tailgate. I wish I'd come up with Cool Rowings because that's just sharp. That shit's sharp.
There you go.
I'm going to have a long, hard talk about myself to myself later on because that was good.
Yeah, you're the writer.
Yeah, apparently.
Courtney Hengeler as Hazel Albrechtsen and Hadley Robinson as Joyce Simdars, the two most two-dimensional female characters. I mean, you can do this. I have faith in you. I'm a housewife with no identity. It's probably realistic of the times, but still, how many times do you need to see the supportive wife?
And it's as generic as the rest of the film, isn't it?
Oh, it's just there's so many films with that role, and I just watch it, and I'm just like, and that's a good thing that I feel that way. That's a good thing that I don't like to just see women in supportive housewife roles.
Well, I mean, it seems that often in cinema, the female characters, especially when directed by male directors, are pigeonholed into anti-wife, who's a real difficult sort of conflict with her husband, whatever they're trying to do, or the supportive one that's there all the way. There's no in between. There's no grey characters, which are the most exciting characters, I'd say, that have a little bit more tonally to them. I completely agree with you. They were just there to serve a purpose.
That's what I mean. It's almost like the whole doting girlfriend for Joe Rance is pointless.
Yeah,
it doesn't serve the story. He wasn't going off to war. It just didn't. I don't think it was needed. I think, if anything, it's just wasted film time.
Well, I mean,
on dead characters.
I mean, we're effectively saying is the female characters deserve to be written better and have more to do, because in this, she's literally there as doting girlfriend to look all warm and lovely when she hears that the boys are doing well, and to slap him upside the head with a book when he was asleep in the classroom. That is it. That is her whole heavy lifting within the film. She doesn't do anything else. Yeah,
they're very two-dimensional, boring characters, which I'm not a huge fan of.
No, I feel you there.
Peter Guinness, he sounds like Nestor advising Agamemnon on the taking of Troy, but he is not Nestor. He is making a rowing boat for a semi-recreational activity.
Yeah.
Like these huge speeches.
Yeah.
This profound changing of the direction of your life.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go do a rowing regatta.
Yeah, and basically all you are actually saying, mate, is varnish this boat with me.
Yeah.
Like, get off your high horse.
I mean, if Peter Guinness his character was like dying of cancer and it's the last boat he was getting ready, fair enough.
Or if he was the bad cop to Joe Edgerton's good cop, good coach, bad coach, and he was just an arsehole, then cool, I'd like to see an angry Guinness. Yeah.
It was just a bit heavy, a bit huge for something that essentially is, it didn't change the world that they went to Berlin, and we've just found out that the actors could have done it. So it kind of killed.
I mean, it was impressive for its time. Credit where credit's due. It's probably impressive that a Depression-era group of lads that were the youth team bettered the more senior team and smashed it and smashed everyone, even when there was being thrown difficulties by the Olympic governing body and all of this. They overcame a fair bit, but you're right. I mean, you won a rowing race.
Yeah. I mean, World War One had happened.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there is a Depression era happening. And you make a good point about Guinness, like the female characters written in this. He was another one that he was just another plot point. There was there's peril, but Uncle Guinness is there to perk you back up and get your spirits in check. Like,
vending machine.
Yeah, it was just a bit like
Yeah.
But then that's probably what the film probably set out what it wanted to do, isn't it?
He was Pigeon Woman from Home Alone. Peter Guinness was Pigeon Woman from Home Alone, giving Kevin the guidance he needs.
Yeah. And the guidance wasn't that. It's kind of obvious. I'll keep with it, mate. Oh, that's amazing. I didn't think of that. Yeah, I should probably keep going. Yeah, I'll do that. I won't give up the job.
I have nothing, and I'm
Yeah.
about to give up the only thing that I almost have.
Wait, Mr. Guinness, what you're saying to me is don't go back to having nothing
You're
and
saying
continue getting money.
stick around
Yeah.
in this place where you've got exercise and a support
Yeah,
network and a wage, and you might even get a chance to get some medals and then go out and fund the rest of your life. What?
So, on one hand, I could potentially be a national hero. On the other hand, I could be eating stale bread out of a bin. Huh.
Holy crap!
That's a really interesting take. I'll have to think about this.
We need Achilles and his myrmidon. There you go. How about that?
I like that.
Yeah,
I did like that.
I was reading an interview with the writer Daniel James Brown, and they missed a huge part of Joe Rand's character, and the author said it was it's the only thing I wish was in the film because it's huge. So he wasn't just left by his dad. He watched his dad get into a car with his step-siblings and mum and turn to Rance and say, "We are leaving and you're not coming with us."
Well, that immediately makes the film more interesting.
That's huge. And you could have shown that in a flashback. If you're going to show me Grandad Rance at the start, watching his child row in his footsteps, then you can show me Rance as a boy getting literally told by his family and watching his siblings drive off and leave him to desperation.
There's in the film called The Boys in the Boat, one boy is told, you can't get in this boat. He's being told, no, you don't get to come with your family. You fuck off. That's not a good story, but that's a story worth telling.
Yeah.
He did it all on his own, was left there, poor Bubba on his own.
Oh, and apparently California coach never once gave them the last $300 in a check. He just said, "I think you should go. I think you guys are the better team. You should go." There was none of that shit with a check and money.
Oh, he's putting an extra glaze on the donut, already glazed to shit.
And it wasn't decided by a photograph either. Photographs were taken, but they didn't wait for a photo to come out. But he did, in fairness, he did say, but for a film, you can't just sit in a boat and wait for someone to go day one. Like he said, like the photo added drama to it. But I don't know, just little things. But that is the worst one. Look, Rance's character, we didn't actually get to fully hate his dad. We just have to accept that he had a hard time as well. No, fuck off.
Yeah, but now him getting shitty with his dad makes more sense that I know that.
Exactly.
Like, that's the only real peril in the film is them not making the funds to actually go to the Olympics and Daddy coming back and going, "Oh, I've been here for years, I just didn't want to come and see you, boy."
Yeah. Little flashback would have done that some good.
Yeah, but
I
that's
reckon.
an odd one to miss out.
Last is like, I don't know if Clooney was having a joke here, but that is the worst recreation I've ever seen of Hitler and his staff ever.
Yeah.
It was jokey. It was almost like a silent movie.
Yeah.
The face of disapproval. Ho, 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 ho.
I mean,
outrageous.
When Taika Waititi's a more compelling, realistic Hitler than whatever the Hitler was in this film, that's a problem.
I feel sorry for the actor who had to play him because obviously it's huge for anyone who has to adorn that uniform and pretend to be Hitler. But if there was a ranking from best to worst Hitlers, he's the worst.
It's worth saying we know
and Bruno Ganz is the best.
Yeah, it's marked as red. We all know that Hitler's a fucking arsehole cunt. We all know that. But if you're going to portray such an arsehole cunt on screen, you've got to do your due diligence of making him at least kind of realistic.
Due diligence.
Due diligence.
Due diligence.
Yeah.
Not due diligence.
Due diligence.
Whilst talking about Hitler.
Well, that's an unfortunate mishap, isn't it? Due diligence.
I still say due diligence because I can't do the do.
Yeah, that's just the problem with my vocal
due diligence.
Yes, but you know what we're saying anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I completely agree. That was a poor Hitler. As Hitlers go as on-screen Hitlers go, it wasn't great, was it?
Guy was a joke. I wasn't scared of him one bit.
Well, I mean, yeah. I actually was scared of Hitler when I learnt about him. I was actually scared that he was a threat to me in my home in Surrey as a child, even though he'd been dead for fucking, 40 years.
I was scared of asteroids.
That makes more sense. There's a chance that an asteroid could hit Earth. There's not a chance that Hitler in 1990 Surrey could kill me in my bedroom.
I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be
when you're talking about chances.
Yeah. Slim to none, I'd say.
Well, in the Marvel universe, there's every chance that Hitler could kill you in Surrey.
He's done it.
In 2024.
He's done it. I'll go on to my dislikes then, shall I? It's just a regurgitated rags to riches formula that was even spoiled by the synopsis.
Oh,
When a film tells you the outcome in its description, I can't help but be a little put off. Whilst I don't regret the time spent with the boys in the boat, the film basically puts out on a first date by revealing the conclusion of its story in its plot outline.
did it?
And within 10 minutes of the film, you know exactly where the film is going. There wasn't a single beat in this one that I didn't see coming.
Exactly. So he should have explored more about the characters' roots.
Yeah.
Then it could have ended with them not even seeing us then win. It's just them as people getting onto the boat was the huge story.
But the synopsis, it says about the 1936 winning gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. It's like, well, why am I watching it then if I know they've won?
Valid. That's why I never, ever and could not watch Valkyrie. I couldn't do it because I know they don't kill Hitler. Whereas in Glorious Bastards, I get to get chub at him getting blown apart.
Yeah. Due diligence.
Due diligence.
Yeah. Exactly that. And I know, yes, you go and watch Titanic, you know that the iceberg wins in that one. KOs the shit out of that boat. We all know it's marked as red.
Where you said that, I imagined it had eyes.
Yeah.
And it just winked after it sank and it went, do, that'll do it.
It did do it. It did do it. But yeah, for me, if that in the 2-sentence synopsis, if it's telling me that they've won, it's like, well, yeah, sure, I'll watch the story. And you know, as it goes, I did enjoy my time with this. It was a pretty basic film, a little better than average because of the look and the feel. Before the lead performances, some of the characters were likeable, the rowing scenes, all of that was handled well. But when you know exactly they're going to win it, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just fast forward to the end, shall I?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not going to explore the characters' roots and the struggle, I would have much preferred a story of the Depression and maybe just a biographic on Rand's character, and he then manages to get on a boat and pull himself out of that hellhole.
But there's obviously a really interesting story there.
The book's regarded, it's highly critiqued.
Yeah, the sort of sub-youth team outperformed the team that should have gone to the Olympics, and therefore a decision was made by the chieftain to take them to the Olympics, and they smashed it.
Junior varsity.
Yeah, and the lead guy, Joe Rance, went through hell on his own and managed to overcome it all to then have a huge part in leading the team to glory. The decisions to not show that and the decisions to only show them succeeding. You don't see this team fail. You don't see them go, oh, we didn't win this one, but we'll get the next time. It was just win after win after win. They was on a great fucking streak, 4 on the bounce or something.
Yeah.
In terms of peril, it was a bit... And like I say, it's a huge dislike that I knew the ending before it started. Yeah.
It's true. I agree with you. Yeah.
Final dislike. Joel Edgerton looks like the fully evolved Pokemon version of Barry Keoghan, and no one is talking about it.
Pump heavy with the face.
Yeah, it's the high cheekbones, the smaller eyes, the jawline, the hair, the way he looks. They look so similar. If they don't play daddy son in film,
yeah,
or at least relatives of some sort, I'll be very shocked. Or Keoghan plays a younger version of Edgerton.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about it. Is it me? Am I wrong?
I kind of see it now you've said it. It's sort of like, not puffy's the wrong word. There's a lot of meat on their face.
Yeah, they've got meaty faces.
Yeah, but they both sort of still can retain a bit of youthfulness because of the plumpness of their skin.
But they're ugly handsome.
Oh, it's true.
But
I know what you mean.
They are. I mean, I would give my left nut and my right arm to look like either one of them. But in terms of your sort of stereotypical, good-looking, aesthetically appealing man, you wouldn't say that they're top tier. They're not your Brad Pitts.
No.
They're good-looking chaps, but they've got an odd sort of quality to them.
Yeah.
I just think they look alike.
Did you clock in the film as well? You've only led me onto it because of your mad dislike. Look,
it's not mad.
Edgerton says goodbye to his wife at a train station to go east for the regatta, and then while they're out there, there's a scene with him in bed with her, chatting. But he said goodbye to her on the train, and then they're still out there in the east doing the regatta. I thought, that's not right. I'd have to show you, but yeah, I'm quite positive. He says bye, goes on a train, and before he returns back to Washington State, he's with her one evening.
Yeah,
but he doesn't sort of...
The film is just ripe with convenience.
Clooney was just rushing to get to the end. to then give us the jokiest Hitler on earth.
Yeah.
A joke Hitler.
To give us as I say, I did find the rowing scenes and the way they were handled. I really enjoyed them. I actually thought they were really well handled. But then when you're just sitting there going, oh, this is when they win the Olympic gold. Then is it? Oh yeah, okay. Oh, there's peril. No, there isn't, because we know they fucking win.
Yeah.
And you're right. It feels like Clooney's. I like Clooney as an actor, as a personality. I think he's a cool dude. I mean, I just like George Clooney. I don't know after watching this if his future is in directing. I can't say I was blown away by this. I've only seen Confessions of a Dangerous Mind that he's directed. I haven't seen Good Night and Good Luck or The Monuments Men or The Midnight
You've seen Good
Sky.
Night, Good Luck, haven't you?
I haven't.
Oh, it's good.
Is it?
David Strahan.
Strahan?
Strahan, I
Yeah,
can
we
never
never
pronounce his
know.
name.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I just don't, after this.
Be honest, the race at the end of Cool Runnings is much more exhilarating than this because there's actual danger in bobsledding like they were.
Well,
the guy could smell the plastic burning on his helmet in Cool Runnings. That's a true story.
Yeah.
But in this, there's no real danger in rowing unless you have cardiac arrest. Then in that case, you weren't fit anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more exhilarating the end of...
I mean, in Cool Runnings' favour, I was a lot younger when I watched it. And I don't have... Watching Cool Runnings as an adult ruined what I loved as a child. But you are right. Certainly in terms of danger, their heads inches away from hitting fucking ice at 100 miles an hour.
The tops of their helmets scraped and stuff. But the speed and the risk of doing bobsledding is more exhilarating than watching dudes row.
Yeah. Yes. Credits where credits due, yeah.
Cool Runnings 1, Cool Rowings none.
Oh.
Maybe.
I think Cool Rowings 1, Cool Runnings none in terms of watching it and enjoying it as a film as an adult, I would say.
Yeah. All right.
Here's a question that is not in my question part, but I'll ask it anyway. We've done 3 sport biopics on this podcast, haven't we? Cool Runnings, Champions, and The Boys in the Boat. Out of the 3, who's winning? Not for nostalgia member berries. Not for supporting a group of people that aren't always fairly represented on screen. Just as a film, as a product, as a whole.
If I had to watch one today, or I suggested it to someone, I'd say Champions, because at least it is a very different film, and they've actually casted people with disabilities. So I'd always say Champions.
But I can't slag that off.
And it's got my man in it. It's got my man.
Yeah, I can't slag it off when you put it like that.
Woody Harrel's.
Yeah, I would say this is the better of
It's
the 3
weird.
films.
Why can't we just do Moneyball and be done with it?
We should do Moneyball.
Like, it pretty much is the best sports film ever made. Because the others are too laced with cheddar. They're too laced with cheddar.
Yeah,
Even if you like them.
I like cheese as much as the next man. But I like my cheese with something. I like my cheese with a gluten-free cracker. I like my cheese on a gluten-free pizza.
Yeah.
I like...
Any Given Sunday was quite a rough film. That was good.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. This is the Christian rock of sports films.
That's a quote.
Yeah, it is though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is the Christian rock of sport films.
Yeah, totally.
You can fill a stadium, but still you're singing about loving God and Jesus and not about doing blow off the back of someone's back.
I've got some questions. The Boys in the Boat does a great job of giving the audience a sense of the times depicted on the screen. Which decade of the last 100 years would you like to visit and why?
100 years is 1924 as far as I can go, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to be the 40s. As horrific as it was, I would love.
Man wants to go to World War II.
Yeah.
Fight.
100%. Yeah. There was a genuine evil tyranny in the world. I'm not saying English Empire didn't have their own, but for the 1940s, what Hitler was doing with genocide and stuff, there was a real reason to fight, and he was an attacker as well, so you had to defend. And I just would love to have seen that people living each day like it was their last.
Well, Harold, I'll tell you this: that is a very noble pursuit.
Yeah.
That is the honourable thing to do.
That's my age now. If you said to me I could go into the last 100 years any age, I'd be 21 years old in 1970, and I would be in a ridiculously amazing psychedelic rock band. That would be the dream.
Singing about doing blow off of the back of people's backs, not about Jesus loving gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Can't say gods in Christianity. There is only one.
It's true. I apologise.
MacLeod, we are brothers!
I'd go back to the 70s just to do, or 60s, just to do bare psychedelics and just get weird and funky. Not a noble pursuit like you, good sir. I would just go and get weird and get drugged up.
So you'd be dead before your actual birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. What is your top 3 sport films based on a true story?
Rollerball.
I mean, if that was a true story.
It would be. If it was true, I would love it.
I mean, if that was true, it'd be the greatest film.
The
ever.
Running Man, if it was true.
Yeah.
If you could put a bunch of nonces into a stadium where they have to escape guys with chainsaws, fucking hell, it'd be amazing.
I'd sign up to that. I'd watch that shit.
Horrific. But if I have to answer honestly, the most pristine sports film I've seen, and one where the lead and the support actor are so captivating, it would be Moneyball.
Yeah.
I love A League of Their Own for Tom Hanks and Gina Davis, and that was a fun film. I don't know if it stood the test of time. I used to be a big fan of Chariots of Fire, which is very, very similar to this film. Very similar. It's about a British running team during the Olympics, and one of them's a priest, so he can't run on Sundays or something, but I think he does decide to run on a Sunday. But if you to watch it now, it reeks of privilege.
Yeah.
White power.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's one that's dated well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some boxing films, The Fighter and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For me, it's just Moneyball. That's my favourite.
Yeah, I think that has to be mine as well. I mean, the way it tells the story is fascinating. As someone that loves football for its tactics and its different mentalities and different coaching methods and all of that stuff, I found Moneyball fascinating.
The maths.
And since we've both got into baseball since that, it's a really fascinating, inspiring film. So Moneyball's up there for me for sure. I also really liked Ford versus Ferrari.
Not seen it.
I'm not a car guy at all. Formula One's something that's never appealed to me, but it's Christian Bale.
I'd like to watch it. James
Mangold is a good entertaining film, well made, I'd say. And the other one, Raging Bull. I mean, Robert De Niro as Jake LaMotta. That is Jake LaMotta, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't say that because I first watched it when I was 16. I never went back to it, and I don't even think I watched it properly because I think I was watching it with a date.
Oh.
In bunk bed.
So you was having your own raging balls happening while that was on.
Leave it out, mate.
What? I'm saying your balls are raging because you were with a date, and as a teenager, you was having a good old grow up, mate. You had raging balls. I thought it was clever. Joe Edgerton is a fantastic Australian actor that deserves to be in more things. Australia have a fantastic reputation for churning out top tier thespians. Who are your 3 favourite Australian actors?
There's so many.
Yeah.
So many.
There is.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah.
Banner.
Yeah.
Tony Collette.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Rush was my favourite for years.
Yeah.
After watching Shine and stuff.
Yeah.
Loads.
Yeah.
Loads.
Yeah, I've got Kate Blanchett.
The Hemsworths will never be in my list.
No, because we're better actors.
They're
than
just
them.
Australian exports. They might as well be a crate of Victorian bitter.
Yep. I've got Ben Mendelsohn, Guy Pearce, Kate Blanchett.
Oh, Mendelsohn's good.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
He's done some shit films.
He has. He's made some poor choices, but I still love me some Mendelsohn for sure. What would you rate The Boys in the Boat out of 10, please?
I gave it a 4.5.
Oh, I thought you'd be a bit higher than that, but
Why? There's nothing new. It's nothing new.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nothing new. There's no real groundbreaking performances in it. There's no electric score. There's nothing. I thought Clooney could do better.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've gone higher than you, but I can't sit here and say I completely disagree with what you're saying. I've been a bit more generous. I've given it a 6. It was just hit the spot. It was fine. It was a little more than average because I enjoyed the rowing. I enjoyed the look and the feel. Very sugary, sweet, feel good film. I like Callum Turner in the lead. So yeah, 6 is a little better than average, but nothing groundbreaking, and I certainly won't be seeing it anytime soon or ever again. That gives The Boys in the Boat a total score of 10.5 out of 20. If you like your films to be sweet-natured, soft-centred and similar to all sorts of sport films, or if you've ever wanted to see a boat full of boys row their way from rags to riches in a basic grit-to-glory story, then The Boys in the Boat could be a film for you. The Boys in the Boat is available to stream on Amazon Prime. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed Unbroken, Chariots of Fire and Moneyball. Should we play a game?
Give it a name, give it a name, give it a name now. We birth a plot and then make a trailer. What the plot?
Action!
This is a first for What the Plot, and bear with me, but I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you options this time.
Shit.
Like the vein of this film, it's a historical sports event that actually did happen. Now, I'll give you 4 choices. You just got to tell me which one you want to hear or what the plot on, okay?
Go.
But in essence, sports, true story.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1. Not all is what it seems in the Boston Marathon of 1980. That's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, basketball scandal on and off the court.
Ooh.
Number 3, year 2000, disgrace at the Paralympics. Number 4, the maddest marathon in history.
Fuck.
I can read them again.
No, immediate thoughts between 3 and 4. It's got to be.
So, 2000, disgrace at the Paralympics and the maddest marathon in history.
Oh. Oh. Well, I'm going to go for number 4, the maddest marathon in history.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I think you might have already titled the film because I don't know if I'll ever top that.
All right. 1904, Fred Lawes hitches a ride. The marathon at the 1904 Summer Games in St. Louis has been described by Olympics.com as the most bizarre spectacle in Olympic history. One runner was reportedly chased off the course by a pack of wild dogs.
What?
Another stopped at an orchid to eat some apples, developed stomach cramps, took a nap and finished fourth.
What the fuck? This is a fever dream.
And a third man was supposedly hallucinating and carried by his trainers over the finish line. The apparent winner was American Fred Lawes, who spent 11 miles riding along in a car. He was called out and admitted to cheating before he could be awarded a medal.
I mean, there's so many questions.
Imagine that film evolving. The guy getting chased off by a pack of wild dogs would have me howling on the floor.
I mean, great use of word there, pack of dogs and howling, but I don't know where to fucking start with that. That is a madness. And that happened in one marathon.
Yeah, 1904 Summer Games in St. Louis.
Wow.
I mean, the fact that it's almost like, you know, in films when they go and recruit people for their team to do stuff, like, we need you back. Oh, I said I'd never come back. And there's like a montage of getting them all ready. Imagine this film.
I tell you what, we spoke at length in this episode about sport biopics being generic and dot to dot and paint by number. This one fucking wouldn't.
Oh, none of them. If you would have picked any of them, Disgrace at the Paralympics, the Rosie Ruiz story, Tom Donaghy, the NBA ref, all of them would have had... All of them were meaty stories.
This is a sports story I want to see.
Yeah.
Like, and it the story lends itself. There's like 4 perspectives. You could have like a 4-pronged. Is it the 4?
Well, that's the 4 mentioned in the article I read. Chased by a dog.
Yeah.
One guy eats apples under a tree, gets stomach cramps, but finishes fourth. Miraculously.
Yeah.
One guy hallucinates and gets carried over the line. Why he's hallucinating, I don't know. It could have been the heat stroke or something. And the 4th guy who won it fucking got a ride for 11 miles in a car. How amazing. No, there's no heroes in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you now, if this was a film and I asked a question out of the 4 sport biopic films we've done on this podcast, which is the best one, this one wins. I don't even have to see it. It doesn't exist, and in my mind it's already better than The Boys in the Boat, Champions and Cool Runnings.
I want to know specifically, not even the lead guy. I don't care so much about you casting the guy who won it and lied about getting a lift. I want to know about who you cast for the guy getting chased off by a pack of dogs.
I mean,
Can you remember when Will Ferrell screams in Step Brothers when they're fighting on the lawn and he's screaming rape? I would love to hear him screaming as he gets chased by dogs, but I don't think you could put him in this film and it not be a ridiculous comedy.
No, I mean, I think it would leave the audience going, what the fuck? Like, is this a comedy? Is this a biopic? Is this a drama? I think you put those 4 hands together and you've got it all.
I think it's like a Wolf of Wall Street, but for a marathon.
Yeah.
Because it's scandalous. I mean, there's no honour.
I mean, you deserve huge credit for finding that story because that is a sports biopic I would watch tomorrow.
I wanted to find sports stories that were not paint by numbers.
Yeah.
And I found 4 in a matter of 5 minutes.
So I've got a lot of thoughts and feelings for this one, but I'll give them to you as they happened. So the first thing that came to mind was a director, and I'd go Danny Boyle. You know, he can do true stories with 127 hours, and Slumdog Millionaire. I think there's a lot of comedy in his work as well, but he can tell a straight biopic and add sort of surreal elements to it as well. And that sort of hallucinogenic thing, that ties into what he did in 127 hours as well. So I think he would be good at the helm as director. Now, casting... Just to let the listener behind the curtain, I've got a list here of actors and directors that I may or may not use for what the plots, and it grows in time. When I watch something and see an actor or director I like, I put it in my spreadsheet. So I've got quite an abundance of talent to choose from.
It's a pool, yes.
Yes. So I've gone with 4 castings, and I'll give you the casting and I'll give you the one-word role that they would have. So Jack Rayner is Dog.
Gets chased by
Gets
dogs.
chased by dogs. He's the guy from Midsummer and Detroit. I think he's just he's got great comedy chops. He's like a more talented Chris Pratt, I reckon.
Is he the co-star in Midsummer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the poor fucker that gets the short straw. So I think he would do well in like getting chased by dogs. I think he's got good comedic chops, and he's actually a good dramatic actor as well. Cramps, I'd have Leo Woodall, who's from One Day and White Lotus.
Cramps.
Yeah, he'd be Cramp guy. The hallucinogenic would be Enzo Vogrinchik from Society of Snow. I think he did a fantastic job in that film, and I'd just like to see him more. All of these actors seem to fit in that sort of age bracket.
That's cool as well, because he would have a bit of an accent or speak in his own language.
Yeah.
That would make it feel like Olympics.
And imagine being a person from another country that's hallucinating in the middle of the fucking in a marathon. Sorry, that would be mad for him, and it'd be mad to see.
Getting carried over the line. Oh.
And the guy, the winner / cheater /
Fred
car.
Laws.
Yeah, Fred Laws. I'd have Rami Youssef, who was recently in Poor Things. I think he could play that sort of devious role quite well, and that, again, quite charismatic. Yeah. So that's a really interesting nucleus of actors. So, yeah, Danny Boyle film starring Leo Woodall, Jack Rayner, Rami Youssef, and Enzo Vogrinchik. And I'd call the film, it has to be the maddest marathon in history. Just has to be.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Welcome to the 1904 Olympics. You join us in St. Louis as the athletes warm up for the men's marathon. Lots of men, women, and children are out here today to watch what we will hope will be an enthralling race of grit and determination. And they're off!
Brought to you by Danny Boyle, director of Slumdog Millionaire and 127 Hours.
Yes, sure, jump on in.
I feel really strange. Why am my hands, my feet? What?
The shocking true story of the wildest race ever run. The maddest marathon in history. Coming soon.